Okay, so I just wanted to show a brief kind of introduction to what we've been working for a backend system. So let's say we want to log in with MetaMask. You can see I'm logged in. You can see I'm actually already part of Pangolin, so I'm already part of that DAO. But let's say we wanted to create a new one. Let's say for Sherpa as an example, we'd add that. We'd add Sherpa. We'd then choose the currency. Okay, so currently we only support AVAX and PNG. Theoretically, we'll support more tokens in the future, but while this is still early, just those. So let's transfer that. Okay, cool. So now you can actually see I'm part of two DAOs. I'm part of Sherpa and I'm part of Pangolin. So if I wanted to switch between the two, I could. I'm now in the Sherpa DAO. So now whatever I do is part of Sherpa. Okay, so if I actually look here, we've got a whole bunch of settings that we can do. Our users. So this would be kind of contributors that actually have access to the system. Let's look at now the dashboard. Again, we'll start revising this and kind of make it a bit nicer. If we look at our treasury, we can actually start adding assets to our treasury. This is kind of, we're still working on this. Let's actually look at kind of a core contributor, right? So let's actually look at a policy. So what we can do is we can create a policy. So like at Pangolin, we actually have like an equipment policy, right? So we set, so let me just switch to make sure I'm on Pangolin. Okay, cool. So I'm going to create a policy for Pangolin, and this is like an equipment policy that determines how much each contributor receives for, you know, equipment. So let's say it's $3,000. We say in what token. So yeah, we could do whatever, you know, whether that's USDC, whether it's USDT, PNG, whatever it is, and we'll pay it on the employment start date. So we can create that policy. We now have that policy. We can then add a contributor. So let's create a contributor. Let's say Harry Selden, my Telegram. I don't know if I should be putting this here, but whatever, I get spammed enough. Let's just say it's Harry. My Discord, let's say it's Bernardo. How much do I get paid? Let's say I get paid, you know, $50 a year. I'm nice and cheap. I put in the C chain address that I want to be paid to, as well as how frequently. So if I get paid fortnightly or monthly, and when did I actually start working at Pangolin? So I think I started working, I don't know, I think it was June the 1st, around there. And then we can choose which policy. So I actually get the policy and we create a contributor. Cool. So now I'm a contributor. We can also then suppliers. Again, we're going to rename some of this. This will obviously be different. This sounds like too formal, but let's say we create someone. We call this, you know, Johnny Cash. How much are we paying this dude? We're saying, okay, he gets, when, how does he get paid? We're saying email address, so we want to email him once we pay him. What's his C chain address? What's his Telegram ID, Discord? So let's just call it cash. What do we want to pay him in? Let's pay him in PNG. He gets paid, you know, let's call it 50 PNG, well, I don't know, 20 PNG per hour. How often he gets paid monthly, and what does they do? So we got devs, mods, interns, and advisors. So let's say there's a dev. Cool, we can create that supplier. Now the next phase of this is obviously we've got some recurring expenses too, which is cool. So we could say Johnny Cash gets paid, I don't know, $10. This will still kind of fix up a bit. And then what we can do is we can actually, Johnny Cash can select he can log in and submit a timesheet, right? So let's say Johnny comes in, we want at the end of the month, we want to know how many hours Johnny did, so we want to pay him, so we create a new timesheet. Okay, and this is a new feature. So that's why it's not working, but that's kind of what we're working on. We're getting to a good place. The next phase will be the timesheets, and to also then submit that payment to like basically combine all the payments into a transaction, which will then be submitted automatically to the Pangolin multi-sig. So what will happen is, let's say you do pay run, you'll come in here based upon who your core contributors are, all of your suppliers, it will generate the pay run and it will submit it through to your multi-sig for the multi-sig to approve it. And that's where we are. That's what we've been working on. Back.